What is the church stand on women covering their hair during worship service?
Okay. That's another issue which the church has no official declaration. It does not have. When I was a boy, most women covered their heads. If you read 1 Corinthians 11 from verse 3 to 8, there's an argument for women covering their heads. And Paul argues on the basis of creation. He says in verse 3, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. And every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head." You've got to figure out what head is which head. Look at verse 3 again. "But I would have you know," read microscopically, "the head of every man is," Christ. Are you looking at verse 3? The head of every man is Christ. So we have a head referring to a person. The head of the woman is the man. The man is the head of the home. And the head of Christ is God. Are you with me? How many heads do we have in verse 3? Name them in order of importance. God, he's the head of whom? What's the next head? He's the head of whom? What's the next head? He's the head of whom? Keep that in mind. Now, read verse 4. "Every man praying or prophesying with his head covered dishonoreth." Now, how many heads did you have there? No. Look again. How many heads do you see? 2. Which one is biological? Which one is a biological head? Which one means Christ? The second, yes. When a man worships with his head covered, you've got a beanie on your head. You're dishonoring your head, not your skull. Jesus. Who's your head? Now, every woman who prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. How many heads in that verse? Oh, which one is biological? Which one is Christ or the man? Yeah, you dishonor the man. Now, yeah, you look so shocked. Paul goes on to say, read verse 6 for me. What does that say? "For if a woman be not covered, let her be shorn. But if it's a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered." Now, read verse 7. "For a man indeed ought not to." Why? "For as much is the image and the glory of God. But the woman," come on, "is the glory of the man." Now, pause before we have a civil war. Wait. Listen to me carefully. When God made Adam and Eve, which one did he make first? Adam. How did he make Eve? From a part of Adam. When God made Adam, Adam received the image of God directly. The woman received the image how? Through Adam. Now, if you want to bring social issues into the Bible, then that's your choice. You'll confuse yourself. The man received the image of God directly. By God's arrangement, the woman received it through the man. But same image, don't misunderstand me. Not a lower quality, just a different modality of delivery. Because of that, the man is the head. Read verse 8. What does verse 8? What does verse 8 say? "For a man is not of the woman," come on, "but the woman of the man." What does that mean? Was Adam made from a rib from Eve? No. How was Eve made? A rib from Adam. So the Bible says the man did not come from the woman. The woman came from the man. Question for you. Are you reading the Bible? Do you see that? Is that what's recorded in Genesis? All right. Read the next verse. Neither what? Was a man made for the woman, but a woman was made for the man. God said, "I will make him an help meet for him." Now let me say it again. If you're listening to this through sociological lens, you'll have a heart attack. We live in a society where everyone is the head. That's not biblical. Now, for those of you men who say, I'm so glad for the Bible. The head of the home is not the boss. In the Bible, a head is a servant. Are you with me? So the Bible says, husbands, love your wives. How? Even as Christ loved the church and gave. A husband's first duty to the wife is to be willing to die for her. You don't beat someone you're willing to die for. The Bible says die for her, don't kill her. Die for her. That is self-sacrifice. Are you with me? And any woman will follow a man who makes it obvious, I'm willing to die for you. And so the wearing of hats on the head, if you study the passage carefully, Paul is not arguing culturally. He goes back to creation. On the basis of the order of creation, the man's head should be uncovered and the woman's head should be covered. Nobody does it today. But I gave you a verse, Psalm 50, verse 20. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. There's sometimes God says nothing. Not because he agrees. He just says, man, these people just won't listen. So he just keeps quiet. Are you following me? He keeps quiet. Not because he agrees. He just keeps quiet. And whatever God does is right. But biblically, the Bible is telling us clearly, the lady should cover her head and the man should not cover his. But if it's as it is now, it is almost non-existent. And God keeps quiet. But don't go judging people and condemning people now. Don't do that. Condemning people is not a gift of the Spirit. Are you with me? There are no policemen in the church. And don't start that movement policing people. Don't do that. The Bible says work out your own salvation. Too many people try to work out somebody else's salvation. Let's not do that. Yes, we care about each other. I mean, if you find out the head elder is running a casino, well, we have to talk to him. Are you following me? Yes. But generally speaking, let people work out their own salvation. Because God deals with us at different times. He convicts us at different times, under different circumstances.